Hi everyone, it's Jerry. I have another interesting odds game to share with you. On the white end, Turkish star Ediz Gürel playing against LeelaKnightOdds. No king knight for Leela. This was played on Lichess, July 13th, 3+2 blitz. A very respectable score for Gurel. They played 6 games, he scored 2 points. Notched a win throughout. And that's more than what many top players can say after playing over a dozen games. To even get a single win, very impressive. Leela. What is Leela's approach in this game? First of all, what sort of opening are we looking at? I guess we can call this a King's Indian defense still, without the King Knight. I continue to be impressed with these games. Leela without the King Knight, Leela playing with black. All right, how does Leela manage to win this game? Let's find out. H6, E5, finally, the trio challenged. Very sensible. You're up the piece. Let's open the position up. No castles just yet. Black is quick to form this battery. Follow up Queen E7, Knight D5, and the queen goes back home. Now, from here, white plays Queen A5, targets C7. It's difficult to say if we would have a repetition. If the knight falls back to C3, is Leela going to be going with Queen E7 again? If you try something different, if you try to control this square, I'm not so sure Leela wants to weaken the D6 point. Not necessarily because the queen could access D6. It's more about the knight. That's how I see it, at least. This thematic C5 and then the knight transfer. There you go. Octopus knight on board. That'll be very difficult to handle. All right. White goes for it. No repetition involved with this one. Queen A5, B6. And one of the things that really impressed me with this game are these next handful of moves. How Leela manages to handle this knight and this queen who's ready to be planted on C6. So the approach here is Rook B8. So this is a window for white to capture A7. The queen is not going to get trapped. But white has his sights set on a more valuable pawn. Goes after C7. And the way to defend, of course, a fianchettoed rook. More than that, there is also a square that has opened up for the knight. After castles, the knight goes back home to extract the queen from C6. Queen A4 it is. Bishop D7. Queen kicked back again. C6. The knight has been kicked back. Those last handful of moves, very impressive. Things are under control. There's a completely open file. But how does white really put that to work? These pieces really just under control, let's say. C-pawn taming the knight. It's not so easy to get some trades in. Not a single piece exchange just yet. Follow up. Rook G8. Okay, the rook is opposite the king. Probably going for the doubling on this file or challenging the rook on this file. Leela doesn't. From my own experience, that's just not the way. You're just trading pieces, no trades. So, bishop falls back to F8, queen B3, queen E7, white doubles, F6, and now we have this sequence C5, B5, A4, A6. We get one pawn capture in there, and now a knight drop into D5. So white is still winning in this position. This is an idea you'll frequently see in a balanced position. After capture, these two pawns are very dangerous. But Leela's approach doesn't take the knight. Maybe an idea, the main idea behind f6 revealed here. Queen f7 now played. Knight in a pin, not taking just yet. Follow up, queen c2 gets out of the pin. Now we see the capture. Pawn takes. White still winning here. Piecewise we are balanced, but white is up a pawn in this position. Really feels like two pawns. These are really dangerous. So how exactly to handle this duo? Let's see. Rook c8. There is a pin now on the c file. Follow up c6. Bishop f5. Queen c1 is played here. It says you could play bishop d3, but I believe white has his sight set on swiping b5. So backs the queen off. Bishop b4. Bishop b6. Something I questioned here, if white goes for this dark square bishop exchange, here's how black may play this one. Capture the rook, and then put some pressure on the pawns in this way. Maybe a further attack on e4. You do have to watch out for the skewer. That's what we might see if white shoots for a dark square bishop exchange. The reason I'm pointing this particular exchange out is because this piece is going to act as a key blockader shortly for these pawns. Follow up, bishop b6, rook c8, bishop captures b5, knight d7, making use of that pin. Bishop e3, and now bishop to d6. So in addition to the earlier queenside maneuver by Leela to kick the knight that was on d5 back and the queen that was on c6 back, this move here really grabbed my attention. I love this move. Not going in for the capture. A key defender. I mean, we have now in this position, what? 3 connected passed pawns. This bishop, very important to hold up these pawns. Follow up h3. This is sort of asking for trouble. White still, in Stockfish's eyes, considered winning. We now see g5. And of course, from the black side, we see the alpha 0 pawn. A square has also opened up on e5. Bishop d4, g4. White still considered winning here, but with this next move, it shifts in black's favor. We're looking at a -1 evaluation after the move in the game. H takes G. Here are the two moves the computer has its eye on. H4 and knight takes G4. I want to touch on each briefly. First of all, H4, not really attractive because you're asking for this break here. H4, try to keep the G file open. The G file will not stay open. I imagine Leela is going to respond to that with G3. And this is a very active rook. You're also opening up the square for the quick battery. There's a lot of pieces here directed towards the white king. So scary, in short, to play H4. This move, knight captures G4. Difficult to say how Leela's going to approach this. What Stockfish has its eye on is knight to E5. These are the two moves. And I think of the two, Leela would go with this one, with the point being to recapture with the pawn, keeping this very important dark square bishop around. Next up, H5. Then there's a pin. Bishop captures H3 as a follow-up. Okay. How it is played in this one, we see pawn captures pawn, Now comes bishop captures knight. This is now considered -1. So big shift there. Black for choice. King captures bishop. Rook captures pawn. And from here, the bishop is pulled back. Provide some security over the sensitive g2 pawn. Is this not a window for white to take the knight now that the rook is on this 4th rank? Now that the rook is no longer watching over this promotion square? I say this because if the knight is captured and there follows rook captures queen, white can now promote. What's the issue if this move was played? Checkmate. We would have queen h5 check, king g1, and rook captures g2. Now what? 2 options. If you try to run, you're not going to run too far. There would follow queen h1 check, bishop g4 check, and from here it's a mate in 2. h3 to f3. The other detail after this capture on g2, if king captures rook, we would have a mate in 2. I was thinking rook g8 straight away, but you first include queen h3, only move, and then rook g8 for mate. So my point is that this knight is poison. The try is bishop to f1. Apparently, queen c3 is the only way to try and stay in the game. Some lateral defense. Okay. Bishop f1 it is. Black now winning. We have queen h5 check. King g1. Ends now knight to e5. Now, when I was preparing for this video, reviewing this game, it was right around this moment. I couldn't help but laugh a little bit. This is not anything against Ediz Gürel, who I think is a phenomenal player. It's just this position here. How did we get here? No king knight to start. You're playing, Leela playing with the black pieces, and look at all of these invasive pieces on the king side, attacking the king. Another one right around the corner. Knight f3, a mate threat. This is so overwhelming. Meanwhile, all of white's pieces, major pieces hanging out together on the queen side, bishop in the center, 3 connected pass pawns. Who cares about them? The king is going to get mated. This is unbelievable. LeelaKnightOdds, just a monster. All right, there's no defense at this point. What we have is bishop captures knight, and no time is even taken out to capture the bishop. What we have instead, rook h4. Here's the thing. If black captures the bishop in this position, this is allowing queen c5, defensive resource, has an eye on e7. The point being, if black tries to now stack the majors on this h-file, going in for mate, there is a check followed up with a queen sacrifice. And apparently this is holdable. So no longer an attack on the white king, and yeah, apparently this is a draw with best play. But how it plays out in this one, you don't even have to take the bishop. You just go straight in for rook h4. The bishop, now that it is not on d4, watch what happens. An escape route has opened up on f2. Nope. There's e3. Bishop isn't there to swipe the pawn. f2 taken away, and this paves the way for a mating attack. At this stage, white resigns. It's checkmate shortly. What are you supposed to do? Any g-pawn move, doesn't matter, g3, g4, you go in for rook h1 check and queen h3, not h2, for mate. So, again, I just continue to be impressed by these games. What are your thoughts with this one? Feel free, as usual, So leave any feedback to this video in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed it and maybe took a thing or two away. That's all for now. Take care. Bye.